It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay By Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice.
30th day? Yes, the 30th day of the month of July 2025. This is The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, alongside our technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph. And also my co-host, Terry Fenilo, is back with us again today. Hope you're having a good day so far. It's looking like another of those good-looking, good-feeling days. The remainder of it, if we take care of ourselves and each other, if we're careful, and, we play our cards of life about as good as we can play them, especially if you're on the road with the traffic and so many other areas that we need to look into. I remain aware that we are in the hurricane season, so always look after your preparations so that you will be ready, so that you will be stocked up. Nobody's asking you to buy a whole warehouse of tuna fish or a whole supermarket of candles or anything. But, just make sure that at least for the recommended, how many days, 3 days after that you have some things. Let's make sure that you do that so that you don't find yourself scrambling frantically, not knowing where to turn, what to do, should something come upon us at rather short notice. Just watching the news and seeing that there was what seems to be a tsunami strike on a part of Russia.
Yeah.
And I think it triggered tsunami alerts across the whole Pacific region.
An earthquake, 8.8.
Yes, 8.8. That's almost at the maximum, which is 9, right? On the Richter scale that measures earthquakes and so on. But Russia is a vast country, the largest country on earth. They can take a hit with earthquake, with volcano, with this and that and the other, and they still have sufficient reserve of space and resources that they can deal with it. They can take a hit as they did several decades ago in warfare, and have so much of their country taken over, so many of their people killed, so much of their military destroyed, and they could still come back and overpower the enemy or the group of enemies and so on. We don't have that kind of resilience. We don't have that kind of reserve. We don't have that kind of fallback with us. That is why we have to be careful with every step we take, every little inch that we move. We have to treat it with the utmost caution, with the utmost circumspection and so on in terms of what we do. We are a vulnerable island, smack dab in the middle of an ocean and so on, very vulnerable economically and otherwise. Let's not fool around. We don't have any kind of margin of error for fooling around in this country of ours, including which governments that we elect, which governments that we select, that we choose to have people running our public affairs and our ministries and so on, especially when people have already shown us who they are, what they're about. don't take chances with them about you giving them a chance, whatever. If they have given a chance and you've seen what they are about, they're unlikely to come and to have anything that is radically or fundamentally or significantly different, and etc. Leopards, even if they wanted to, they can't remove their spots. So, let us be careful with those kinds of things. You can take the spots of anything else, of banana stains and so on, and you can put it as the old people who long ago, la blani, and let wash love here, and with a good chew afterwards, you can squeeze it out. But these kinds of leopards, people who see life in only one, dimension, the racist dimension, the dimension that they are of the upper crust and upper class, and they must preserve their position no matter who they preserve it at the expense of them. No matter who they leave without schools, without police stations, without a proper fire and ambulance and emergency medical services, without proper healthcare and hospital facilities and so on. Whatever they do in order to preserve the status quo from which they consider themselves to have benefited, and those associated with them and their friends, stop giving ourselves, stop selling ourselves, stop handing over ourselves, surrendering ourselves to those kinds of people. And so while we have what we might call the perils of weather and the perils of economy and the perils of this, we have to watch out for the perils of politics. We have to watch out for the perils of governance. We have to watch out for the perils of our constitution and assaults on it. And while we beat upon ourselves that we are slaves and the children of slaves, there is a kind of enslavement that certain people have, and the way they try to deal with it is to offload it on us. When you see people who are not supposed to be the descendants of slaves, are not burdened, are not encumbered with the heritage of slavery, telling you things like constitutionality only matters if there is some prescription for punishment for not observing it. So, Deputy Speaker, I can do without that. I can have one and remove her and leave the position vacant because the Constitution doesn't say anything about any sanction. It doesn't say about any, measures, punitive or otherwise, how we may describe it for that. That person, against the grain of what we assume to be the slave mentality typically associated with black Caribbean people of African descent. When somebody thinks that way, that person is existing in a kind of psychological slavery, in a kind of you know what I'm talking about? And they will offload it on you. They will dump the consequences of it on you. You need to watch out. Terry missed yesterday. He's back here today. I know he's always packed with stuff. So let me not take more time than is necessary. I think I've done well today. Terry, over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shelton, for having me. Yes, apologies for yesterday. I mean, I got it was on schedule. It was not planned, and sometimes I have to respond like that. So I'm happy to be back with you in your living rooms and wherever you are, by the beach, wherever you are, your bedroom. Some of you have your TV in your bedroom and you listen and you're comfortable. So it's nice to be back with you. Shelton, I listened to you yesterday and I think you were on point. Mm-hmm. You dealt with West Indies cricket. I'll not go there. It's a very sore point. And I think from tomorrow we're playing Pakistan. It's not going to be an easy road. It's not an easy road. That's who sang that, Buju?
Yes.
Yes, it's not an easy road for us, not an easy comeback. But we're hoping for the best. This Pakistanis have the spinners, and we don't play spin. You spoke yesterday about not going too much after Titus. Well, not going too after, but be careful how we attack him.
It's not specific.
Victor him. Yes, I know.
I think we need to know not to be overly vehement.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'll be tackling him today, briefly. I must, because Shelton, we cannot ignore certain things. But before we do that, Shelton, there was a little clip, and I want us to try to analyze the behavior. I'm no psychologist. Yeah, although I did psychology for 4 years, I am not a psychologist. But run a video number 2 for me, Shelton, and listen to that. Listen to that.
Excuse me. I really apologize. This is Alan Chastanet. And I will just ask for permission whether I can just say one thing to was said, because I think it was very, very pertinent. But if I'm not allowed to, I accept that. And I just want to ask for permission if I can.
Well, Mr. Chastity, I think you're very well represented by attorneys here. And you may have heard the presentation by your attorney, extremely capable and well done. But I'm curious, are you there?
I am right here.
Yes. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. It's going to be very brief, I take it, sir?
It's going to be very, very brief. That's actually not. I just want to clarify something because the statement was made with regards to Dr. Hilaire putting the car in the name of the High Commission, and it was an avoidance.
Sorry, I'm sorry. If you're going into an issue of fact which has been argued before, I'm afraid I don't think we would need to hear that. I thought you were making a different kind of comment. Yeah.
No, that's
thank
fine.
you, sir. Appreciate
thank
it.
you very
As I
much.
said, your attorney represented you with distinction as usual. Thank you very much.
Of course he did. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Council, once again for your presentations and submissions. We'll take some time to consider these submissions, and once we have a decision, we will get back to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Shelton, I don't know. When I saw that, Shelton, you know what came to my mind? You made a statement earlier in your preamble. I don't think when somebody has shown you who they are, you have to believe them. So when you think people will come back and they will change, you better think again. This behavior, characteristic, that's the man's character. You notice what he did there? He has been doing in the House. After the Speaker has ruled, matters have been discussed and, put aside. He wants to come back and debate. Oh, no, that's not the word. But he wants to, bring the things back to the fore. Say, we have done that. So this happened yesterday. I look at the first thing he did. First thing, he invoked the name. I am Mr. Alan Chastity. So he invokes his father's name, because that carries weight in St. Lucia. But that doesn't carry weight in the courts. And then he invoked his white privilege. He has lawyers, well-paid, skilled people. But he figures his lawyers didn't make the point for him because, he's after Ernest. And he was making the point, boy, you cannot be so obsessed with an individual unless a man, what does Frazier say? Unless a man has snaked, something. You can't be that. You're there. So you have invoked your name, Chastity, because that name carries weight. So you think it will carry weight among the judges. And this is Alan Chastity. And you're invoking. So they had to shut you down. However, you could not display your bad manners as you normally do in the House of Assembly. When you have in the House, you get on and you're not getting out and you will not apologize and you will not sit down and stuff. No. So you know how to conduct yourself. You know your place, time and place. But in the House, you play to an audience and you display all your bad manners. Exactly what you try there. That's characteristic of you. That's your character. And I want the people of Miku South to understand that, This is not a man that is humble, who takes correction, and you could guide. He wants to do what he wants to do, when he wants to do it. And you figure you could display the same kind of nonsense you do in the Court of Appeal. But they shut you down. They give you a calotte. What's it, a palavive?
Palavive.
Yeah. That was embarrassing, man. They had to tell you, your council represented you want to come and relitigate what has already been discussed. And you do that all the time. And you display your bad manners. You will not sit until you get a satisfactory answer. You heard that once, right, Claudius? That's what he told Claudius once. I will not sit, Mr. Speaker, until you give me a satisfactory answer. Who are you? You want to invoke. But that's important. And Miku South, we are asking you, take note of these things. Rid us of this carbuncle on the body politic. Be tired, we have to get rid of you once and for all because you add no value to our body politic. You are a nuisance. I heard a talk show who says that when you represented us outside, we were so well represented. I had to laugh. I was wondering, in what forum? When you say we have 2 Nobel laureates per capita per GDP, You went before the UN and you could barely read because, sorry, I'm not making fun of that. I know you are a little, how you call that again? Not autistic, huh? But I'll get the term. You know, where you mix your letters and stuff. So we know. Dyslexic, correct. You made about 100 bullets. You couldn't pronounce certain words. You know, you sat across from Dr. Michel of Grenada and you're there. Our credit written. Our patrimony is our credit written. And a talk show was once to say that you represented us so well overseas. I mean, some people are living in the twilight zone, man. You know, to get a grip, you know, Coco Ramos, any. So, we go south. You have work to do, you know.
Jaquan, can you send
it's an election year.
The YouTube live streaming link also for us?
Right.
Yeah, put it in the group and send it to me also.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Terry.
That's okay. We have to take care of our people. Now, today, Shelton, we're going to take care of that. So those of you who want to comment on that, I want you to understand what was done there in the Supreme Court. This is a man, he brought up his name because he believes his name carries weight. And then the same thing in St. Lucia. You know, we give him passes because of his name, his father's name, and his complexion. And he brought it up, he invoked the white privilege. And that's why he behaves and does what he does in the house. And nobody seems, well, we want to treat him with kids' gloves, you know, because he's a Shasni. And you know, the Shasnis invested money and their employment, and so they don't make a profit and live high on the hog. We have to get real solutions. We have to get real. We have to come to terms with certain things. We're not racist. We have to come to terms with certain things. And we have to put people in the rightful place. All right? So I just felt we should see that for what it is. And, you know, the arrogance and things. Your lawyers are there and you just buy. In other words, you're dissatisfied with the representation that your lawyers give you, you know. And you figure you must use your name and your privilege to ask to think about something that was said because you do not believe your lawyers did justice to it. That's what you said there. You know, you threw whoever your lawyers were, amicus legal, under the bus because in your estimation they did not represent you well, and so you're invoking your name and your privilege to tell the judges to rethink what was said. Dr. Hiller said something, etc., etc. Beatties, you were put in your place, and we have to start putting you in your place. And when the election call, we'll put you in your place once and for all, you know, which is at your home in Canada, because that's where you live. All right, we good on that? Okay, Shelton, let's go to video number 1, because as I'm there, Shelton, I'm butting heads with Shelton. There are 2 things that came to light in, it's just 28 seconds, a video that Tommy, you're on your case today, you and Titus. Let's play the video number 1.
Critical.
Someone challenged me and said, where is Alan Shasney's degree? They asked me, where is I said, when Alan has Titus in his cabinet, and he has Tommy in his cabinet, Alan don't need to be an economist. He have enough economic grades in the United Workers' Party. Yes.
Critical.
Someone challenged me and said, where is Alan Shasney's degree? They asked me, where is I said, when Alan has Titus in his cabinet, and he has Tommy in his cabinet, Alan don't need to be an economist. He have enough economic grades in the United Workers' Party. Yes.
Now, Tommy did he did 2 things there. Well, I'll do the second one. The first one, Shelton, I don't know if you picked it up. I think Tommy, in a subtle way, very subtle way, confirmed to us that Alan has no degree in economics. Shelton, you might say I'm reading that wrong, incorrectly. Notice Tommy never said he gave an answer to the question. When he was challenged and asked, where is Alan's degree? He never said he gave an answer. Because I think Tommy knows deep down that Alan, and Ambassador Pell might be listening. Ambassador Pell because Ambassador Pell worked with him in the Ministry of Economic Development, I think.
Work with who?
Well, Alan was in the ministry, and I understand that Osbert at some point had to let him go because I will not say the rest. So Tommy knows, and Tommy in a very subtle way has confirmed to us that Alan has no economic degree or no degree in economics. Shelton, is that a stretch?
It seems a bit of a stretch of the inference
Information.
on that basis.
Yes, but let him prove it. Right? So, in other words, he's saying, Alan, you don't have that, he doesn't need that, because he has Tommy and Titus. But for a man like Titus, who is an economist, he did not know the difference between zero rated and VAT exempt. Is it not troubling, Shelton? I know you dealt with it yesterday.
I dealt with it yesterday, but I subsequently got other information, which I spent the better part of the morning investigating. And I don't think we would consider what Titus said and what Minister Hippolyte subsequently said to be the final word on that in terms of providing some clarity. We need a lot of clarity for the sake of the public out there, that no confusion is created in their mind. So I would not make any pronouncement on that. I said what I said, that Titus Prevail, if he, after all those positions that he has held, rising as high as permanent secretary, being director of what was it, Trade and Commerce, being the CARICOM man in charge of the CSME, and he does not understand, and there is a difference, the difference between zero rated
and VAT exempt.
If he does not understand that, he comes to say 70 of the items that they have zero rated were already tax exempt, as if they are one and the same thing, then there is a problem there. And that problem needs not just to be solved, but to be exposed further. Why is there such a problem? Because while it may seem like it does not matter, in the final analysis, it does.
It does matter. It does matter.
Well, go ahead.
All right. So, I want us... Go, Shelton, I keep him just a few things. Let me go back to
well, basically, let me go to some of what you said about Tommy. Here's where my point of departure and taking exception with Tommy lies. You're basically telling me that if I have sufficiently resourceful people that I must oversee, that I must lead, that I must direct, you know, and in fact set the example for them, that I can afford to be a moron. You know, I mean, come on. You're going to tell me that, and no.
Yes, Shelton.
In my time, for example, as a news editor, as a news director, I think one of the greatest strengths that I brought to it, although you're supposed to have a management outlook on it, but one of the greatest strengths I brought in it was that I knew my onions when it came to the actual technical aspects of the work.
That's right.
And being always chronically short of staff, I could pack on a recorder. I could carry, in fact, most times I had my own equipment, but I could take a digital recorder or any kind of recorder. I could take a mic stand, and it's amazing the amount of people who don't know how to set up and adjust a mic stand. It's a shame. People in the media and so on, you know, the cables and so on, the proper kind of mic. And I would go out to press conferences or on the streets and so on to do what you call those voice of the people type, you know, sort of things and so on. And it gave me strength that I knew what they were doing, and in most instances, better than them. Because how can you supervise people? How can you have leadership that is credible, management that is credible, when the staff that you're supposed to be overseeing, they can dance circles around you and everything? So I do not know how Tommy can get this idea to tell somebody Alan does not need to have a degree when he has people like Titus and myself. This sounds to me like a guy who has his mindset on a coup, and he's trying to put it in a kind of a smart way. Alan has said he was an economist in the Ministry of Planning under Osbert Dovey. He worked as an economist where else and so on in the States. His father was telling Jacinta Annis some time ago about the jobs Alan has held. He continuously talks about studying, having a development banking degree, which is a cross between an MBA and an economics degree. You know, we need more clarification on that. I mean, the man continuously sells himself as an economist. You know. But rather than answer the question about his degree, you come in and say, you don't need that.
You don't need that,
you know? So I'm saying it's a good little lead to follow. Does he have a degree for Tommy to be saying that, or does he not? You know, so that's why when I say it's a little leap of...
I'm going to stretch it and says I believe, based on what Tommy says, I'm led to believe that he does not. And he'll have to rely. Now, I'll tell you why that scares me. I will tell you why I am scared. I almost said, you know, when you say scared, what follows. That scares me. Play is just 57 seconds. Video number 6. Please.
such as the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, are concerned about the poor performance of St. Lucia's economy under the stewardship of Alan Chasney, even before the onset of COVID-19.
I am sure you would have also seen documents from the IMF, from the ECCB, essentially rebuking, I use the word rebuke, as far as a governor can go to rebuke a state, because you know the ECCB does not normally tell St. Lucia how to run its affairs. But when I read a report recently where ECCB actually said very openly, our economy is really in a mess and something has to really be, I was like, wow, because I have never seen a governor speak so strongly. And there's a reason for this, because the St. Lucian economy can sink the entire regional economy. We are the largest economy. So if we are performing so miserably, it can have a contagion effect on our Eastern Caribbean dollar.
Such as the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, are concerned about the poor performance of St. Lucia's economy under the stewardship of Alan Chasney, even before the onset of COVID-19.
I am sure you would have also seen documents from the IMF, from the ECCB, essentially rebuking, I use the word rebuke, as far as a governor can go to rebuke a state, because you know the ECCB does not normally tell St. Lucia how to run its affairs. But when I read a report recently where ECCB actually said very openly, our economy is really in a mess and something has to really be, I was like, wow, because I have never seen a governor speak so strongly. And there's a reason for this, because the St. Lucian economy can sink the entire regional economy. We are the largest economy. So if we are performing so miserably, it can have a contagion effect on our Eastern Caribbean dollar.
Such as the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, are concerned about the poor performance
You know,
of
people, ladies and gentlemen, who was the chief economic advisor during that time? When our economy was doing so badly that the central bank had to say, well, boys, St. Lucia's economy is in a total mess. And this is the guy who's saying, Alan doesn't need to have a degree. There is enough brains, economic brains, to handle matters. But you were there. And Titus, that's your brother giving his analysis, you know. That's Dr. Claudius Prevail, your brother, who told you he's telling and he's analyzing that's not a matter of conjecture. He's not taking that from the sky. He read the report from the central bank, and he says our economy is performing dismally under Alan Chasney and Tommy Descartes. Descartes was a chief economic advisor. Descartes was there when Chasney displaced the civil servants and he gave $50 million to Ernst & Young to prepare the budget. And before we go to the break, Shelton, just let me play one last video, because Descartes, as chief economic advisor, this is how you had your prime minister, video 5.
So the government was struggling and is still struggling. And we were honest. I said the government is broke and COVID has only made the matter worse. So the government was struggling and is still struggling. And we were honest. I said the government is broke and COVID has only made the matter worse. So the government was struggling.
You heard that? Ladies and gentlemen?
So Tommy, what difference did you make?
Tommy, you were the chief economic advisor to that administration led by Alan Chasney.
Was Titus already gone to CARICOM?
I am not sure. That's why I'm not calling in there. Yeah. I am not sure. I remember when Pell came to fight the election. No, he was still there. Because it's when Ambassador Pell left CARICOM, he asked Pell about his job. And Pell directed him and he got the job in Barbados. So he must have been there for a little while as a permanent secretary. If my facts are wrong, you can sue me. The judge will have mercy on me.
You can as well as take you to the CCJ, you know. and then they call while the hearing is going on to see if they can swing the thing against you. Go ahead.
You were there. So Tommy, that is your doing. Because you said Ben don't need a degree, he has your brain. But right now I'm realizing your brain not good. Emma had to set you straight. Titus. You know that? And Tommy, as an economist, say, well, you put the price on a piece of paper and go and pin it up around the place so people know the price of goods. Nonsense. You are the one, the chief economic advisor, and you have the prime minister in that state. Imagine Philip J. Pierre coming there to say, well, you know, the country is broke, I run the country broke, and then when we find out he's chief economic advisor, because he says he leans on his technocrats. And that he says that all the time. He listens to the technocrats, the expertise.
And you know, technically, a government is not supposed to ever be broke, eh?
No, well, correct.
Technically, a government cannot be broke.
Can't go bankrupt.
You know?
And you admitting that because he wanted to pay civil servants in bonds, you know. You had no money, and you're telling civil servants.
It means your credit worthiness is shot to shreds. You can't turn to the commercial banks. You can't turn to ECCB. You can't turn to CDB.
Nowhere.
You know, that is the only way that you can be broke. And now, if your credit worthiness is shot to shreds, then I mean you have no battery.
I mean, come on, man, people, and you're going to go vote for these fellas. I mean, these are fellas of substance. Already, these fellas began their political career on lies and inaccuracies and stuff, untruths, and now we are finding out that Tommy, you are the chief economic advisor, and then the prime minister, the prime minister should have fired you because you're not good, and then you want to come and package yourself and say you have enough economic brains. Man, don't try to boost up yourself. You have shown that you have failed in economic policy. You could not advise your government.
Isn't Guy Joseph supposed to be an economist now?
No,
also?
Guy Joseph is everything.
No.
Now he has a degree?
Isn't supposed to have 2 degrees?
2 degrees, but when you listen to him, does he sound like a man?
No, but what I'm saying,
I know he is supposed to.
I wonder why Tommy did not include Guy Joseph in the brain power that can supplement, that can make up for the deficits in Ireland. So Ireland doesn't have it. Titus and I, once we're in the cabinet, he don't need anyone else.
Gaza.
I wonder why he didn't mention Guy Joseph. Because Guy Joseph was the guy who was so super qualified, and so credentialed that the man was virtually minister of everything.
Yeah. Before we go, I think we have the break.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure, done. Let's take the break.
All right. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. Don't go away.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Clans Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
Day of the month of July 2025. Tomorrow will be the final day of the month, and then Friday we won't have any program because it will be a public holiday. That is Emancipation Day. I'm in with Terry Fendelon, my co-host, and he has already made promises to you of what he's going to be delivering with quite a hard landing on the other side of the brick. So back to him.
Yeah, now, Tommy, I've shown and I've framed that and put that in context. You are a failure as an economic advisor. You cannot tell me you are the chief economic advisor to the Prime Minister and you have the Prime Minister facing the cameras and admitting that the country is broke. And I have you on tape. I have the receipts. We'll bring it at a time. Where you sat with NTN and you admitted, boy, you're in a dire situation.
Who's that?
Tommy!
Tommy, okay.
I have the receipts. I'll play it. Don't worry, I'm pacing that because, you know, this fella's talking a whole set of nonsense. And you have to ensure that you put these fellas in check. You know? So we're going to deal that. And Titus, your brother dealt with you there. Dr. Claudius Prevail showed you. You have chosen to align yourself with these misfits. And that is very telling. Now, Tommy, don't talk about economics, because tomorrow, hopefully, Shelton, the Prime Minister was on another show where he dissected the nonsense that you were spewing. He took you piece by piece by piece. So what I'm going to do for tomorrow, hopefully, cut that up and play them, because you know when I play a whole thing, your attention span is so. I'll see if I can get it in maybe minute by minute. When the Prime Minister, I mean, he's no top economist. He never flaunts his degrees. We know he's educated. We know he went to St. Mary's. We know he went to UWI. He doesn't flaunt. You like what you did there. You have economic brain. And when we analyze you, you are found wanting. The Prime Minister is a man who just does his business. And so he dissected the nonsense coming from your mouth. Or take a piece of paper and put the price of goods on the post so people don't know. Charlie, you ever such a nonsense? I mean, that is the economic advice you're giving. You know, the Prime Minister explained, you're supposed to do that, Tommy. You know, the cost and the price will vary. But the Prime Minister explained, and automatically you're going to save 12.5% no matter what the cost is. You understand? But you said, I'll let you hear from your Prime Minister maybe tomorrow, because tonight I'll try to see if we can chop it up. So he'll take you every point you have made and show where you have found wanting. For an economist hour, I'm disappointed in you. First of all, you go to Banan and tell the people remain in squalor. I mean, you play cheap politics, man. There ain't the time for cheap politics. You know, the people have no title, nothing. They're squatting. We are trying to develop the place to make it much better for them. And we're inviting them back in better premises. And you tell them, don't move. Well, you sit down in your bedroom if you're 75-inch screen, eating lobster and caviar, but you want them to remain in squalor. You're a wicked fella. After you run the country broke, you advised the Prime Minister, he took your advice, he implemented policies and we were broke. After he borrowed $500 million, remember that, Shelton? And not only that, you know, and I'll tell you why that is so bad. I've tried to explain that, and maybe Shelton, Dr. Carlton at some point tomorrow, next week. These fellas benefited from a best economy, you know. Twice it happened. You aware of that, right, Shelton? When they came in, they expanded it by the stroke of a pen, made the economy larger, and the debt to GDP ratio went down. So they had enough space to borrow.
In other words, they cooked the books.
They cooked the books. And you borrowed up let me use it, up the gazoo. You borrowed and borrowed. You gave us the term Madi Puete. It's coming out in part 3 of my next piece. Madi Puete. You boasted on a show. Oh, I borrowed 500 million. I borrowed 500 million. Oh, nothing to show for it. You did not pay your debts, your COVID debts. The Prime Minister now has to be paying that. You could not give people income support. NIC had to bail out people. Your right-hand man stood in Parliament and said, you think people will give us money to give people money? Because you could not see, you know, you could give people, when people are in desperate, you don't give them flour, you give them money, they can handle themselves. You couldn't do that. The country is broke. Tommy, that's on you. You could give them income support. You understand? Thank God for Isaac Anthony in NIC. He decided, boy, now, man, he's a Christian, I told you already. So he bailed out people. You could give them income support. And my partner Doof, I have to call your brother Ezekiel, you're telling the farmers they cannot handle $1,500. None of that after you borrowed so much money. You understand? And you're going to tell me the country is broke after you didn't pay your debts. We are paying the debts now. And all the payables injecting that back into the economy. So, we will deal with you tomorrow, Tommy. and the Prime Minister will answer you. Answer the nonsense that came from your mouth. You are no economist. I suspect your degree might be a mixed up degree too, like your boss. It's disgraceful and shameful. Now, Shelton, let's go to some good news, because these fellas they give you indigestion from the kind of nonsense they spew. If you have to listen to these fellas all day, Gasser, you might be on meds because they spin your head. You have all paid people talking nonsense about visa. I mean, come on, man. Seriously? Nonsense, spin nonsense, as though what countries? Yes, we have a crime situation. We'll admit that. It's not good. You saw in the States a man just open fire, kill policeman, kill how many people and things. It's not good around the world. Yes, we must take care of our business, I understand that. But come on, by and large, pensioners are smiling, man. NIC 3.9%. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's go some good news. I have a little clip there. I might stop it, but it shows just the one video for. That's a little thing. Let's try to get some good news now, because y'all fellas get me upset, upset stomach, and I have to eat when I leave here. Shelton, what are you eating today?
They give you zegwe.
Zegwe. Yeah, I'll eat some chow mein or something to fill up my belly until later. Yeah, later I'll go for a little lobby soup at Debara or something. Hey. Let's go, my brother. Let's listen to some good news, man.
Honorable Prime Minister, we commend you on the structure, the support, and the professionalism of the team you have built.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre has made several concessions to solutions, hoping they will bring relief to those who have felt the crippling effects of inflation and other challenges.
A 13% salary increase has been negotiated for public servants.
A sovereign wealth fund for the country.
Newly minted fire officers have joined the St. Lucia Fire Service.
BPO company is expanding its operations in St. Lucia.
$500 one-off bonus.
I understand the Fisher people and the people of Miku.
Not 2, not 3, but 4 new hotels.
He reduced the unemployment rate to a record low.
You gotta be flexible. You gotta be agile.
But today I am here. My Prime Minister has promised that you will compensate me, give me a check. So I'm here to collect my check.
I feel very good because it's a government with people in mind.
The economy of this country will grow by 4.2%.
Without favor of fear, I declare my choice is clear. I'm sticking with Mr. Pierre.
That is just some of the goodies, eh? That's not all, growth in the economy. Tommy, you couldn't say that, huh? Your economy tanked 26%. Imagine, the only country in the Caribbean. I mean, COVID struck, and in 2 weeks we were broke. Tommy, that's on you. Tommy, you understand? Your association is bad. In 2 weeks after COVID was declared a pandemic, the economy sank. Come in and beg civil servants, can you take bonds? As a joke, you say, I'm not joking, Marcy didn't want to accept bonds. Take 50% in bonds, 50% in cash. The economy, we don't have money, the economy broke. COVID made it worse. Cry baby, you can't manage money. And Honorable Richard Frederick told us that. Your father doesn't trust you by his businesses. He says when you spend money like a kid,
a child who never had
toys. And that is true. Ernst & Young, $50 million. You give a cement producer $7.3 million. I feel commission, but no.
You stop an inland revenue investigation.
They shot $24 million
into the tax liability.
You go and build a racetrack. You yourself said the racetrack will not make money. $113 million. You commission a report that said St. Jude is fit for purpose. You decided, boy, fellas have to play their hand somewhere, Your report told you go ahead, You send Laura the measuring tape.
Demolish buildings that were already up there.
You send Laura, and based on Laura's report, the human measuring tape, you say, we have the report we wanted. Laura says it's too small, and you
demolish 2 buildings. And
ladies and gentlemen, these guys did us too many things, Made us suffer. You gave them $2 million for doors in that box. And not one door is in the box yet. But the $2 million has been paid. Special prosecutor. You $2 million you gave a man. And up to now, there's not one door in the box.
at St. Jude, but it's paid already. Preparatory works, 3 million estimated by infrastructure. You paid 9 million, 6 million more. How? You understand? Then you gave them $24 million for architectural works.
Yeah.
Up to now, Shelton is wrecking his brain. You don't understand that.
Architectural works.
Imagine I see an architect there, and the architect
paying investors to come and set up shop and calling it foreign
direct investment. Boy,
Ojo Labs,
Alpha Lewis must be saying, what kind of dunce is that? You know what I mean? You have everything back to front.
Look at the Diamond. You're spending so much money to purchase it.
Now the Prime Minister has to tell us, because I think he renegotiated. I think.
Yeah, you now have to go and pay them, for more money.
They kept the man $1 million. So KM2 Solution, I think, is going there, and they will be, easing up the pressure on us, because we have to pay $1 million a month. That's what kind of man? And the worst of the worst, $90 million to finish the bottom floor of St. Jude. To be repaired in 1 year. No, not 90, sorry, 70. Yeah. To be repaired in 1 year. And worse, you're an economist. Tommy, you saw it. And the fellas have to spend 1% penalty for every day that payment is late. So if the payment is late by 20 days, one day, no finish. Your fellas it was open season. When you watch the cartoons, duck season, fellas, it was open season on the people's money in the treasury, That was open, you all declared open season, man. Red in the treasury, you're a bunch of more raiders. Open season. You understand? I can understand that, Shelton. Now, I came to defend Honorable King, but Shelton, we can open the lines early?
Of course we can.
Yeah, we can open the lines early. But, Honorable Senior Minister, I will handle you later. Call him a snake, I'll believe that. You understand? Open season on the treasury. You all fellas, you're party melee.
You declared the lines.
You all were just helping yourselves.
You declared the lines open, right?
The lines are open, so we'll take calls.
People heard you, eh?
Yeah, people heard me. I think there's a call already.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues, you're on the air. Hello? All right.
That call.
Okay, yeah, that call.
So as I was saying, open season on you left payables there when the Prime Minister came. The phrase, we cannot eat roads, you have to put that in context.
Just mashing up everything. So that you can create
demolishing.
Rents. You can create the need.
I understand they paid 2 sets of money for the demolition of Cassini Switch,
No, what's surprising? But all of these things were done so that more facilities owned by his father, of which he himself is a shareholder.
Right.
That the state would have to rent more from them, so more money from our treasury would flow to them.
Tommy, it's on you.
Yeah, we have a call on the line. Good afternoon. Real Issues.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you. Go ahead.
Mr. Sheldon Daniel.
Yeah, forward la, come on here.
Good afternoon, every guest là.
Good afternoon, forward la.
Yes, après bon Dieu. Forward là, pas trop plus bien, trop plus mal après bon Dieu. Mais faut que Bobby a pas formé langue là fort. Langue là répond. Il a prédit, il a fait tout ça, il a fait. So, mon couillon, vous m'avez tout ça qui est bon. Long la vie, succès, progrès, pour tout bon parole qu'on porte dans nous, avec gesture, on est là et plus là. Et tout ce monde qui a dit, pas attendre voir forward là. C'est pas trop de bagailles qui arrivent. Mais il n'y a pas il n'y a prière, il n'y a tout ça, il n'y a pas fait, papa bon Dieu, il n'y a fait, travail, c'est mon café. Mr. Sheldon Daniel, tout ce monde qui attend dans lui, là, Mr. Sheldon Daniel, et Gasly. So, forward là, je dis tout ce monde qui a dit, pas attendre moi, avec ça, mais moi, la Jaim, NBC, il y a des les disciples, papa, vont Dieu, vous toi, après, maman, déjà prête. Est-ce qu'on a fait hot save? Forward là, toujours. Papa, merci. Mr. Sheldon Daniel, m'a demandé, bon Dieu, tout quoi fini. Long la vie, ou quoi mener bonne nouvelle, nous. Et gouvernement, m'a demandé, papa, vous la pas bon bagage pour nous tous. Prayer for the nation, pour nous toutes à la terre, pas une, pas deux, pas trois. Nous toutes. So, Mr. Sheldon Daniel, guess what? We said goodbye. Précaution la cas de vie.
Okay, merci un peu pour votre là. Passez une bonne restant journée.
All right, Shelton, somebody from overseas telling me they agree with my premise on the qualifications. And is saying that next time this politician meet the press must press them onto presenting the credentials, man. Don't come and give us fake things. I mean, Dr. François to resign, you know, because he called himself what he was not, unfortunately. You call yourself an economist. That should debar you from running for public office.
We have another call on the line. Hi, good afternoon, Real Issues.
Yes, my brother, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Money boy, I'm going to laugh. But one thing I must say, whenever I am on the line and you think the partner making a point, I can stay over half an hour to hear Mr. Fernando make his point. I didn't watch the court thing yesterday, but this morning I woke up and I said, but let me go and see what transpired. So I went to the end of the tape because I was looking to see what judgment that was taken. And my God, I found at the end, Alan Chesney just cannot keep his mouth shut. Alan Chesney feels that you have your lawyers. At least I recognize two of them, a lady and Maharaj. You have them representing you. You on your vehicle driving around, doing whatever you want to do. You want to call the CCJ. They never invited you to make a point. You need to push yourself into that where you have your lawyers representing you. And the judge had to tell you, hello, sir, your lawyer has been representing you, and I thought you had something new to come with. But Alan Chesney just cannot drop Ernest Ile. And I've called on Ernest Ile on his younger days and Alan's younger days. What happened between schools? Because Alan Chesney, as he had said this morning, I wouldn't repeat it, but Alan Chesney has a grudge against Ile that he just cannot sustain. And you know what? It will blow up any time. My brothers and sisters, Mr. Fellow, I have been going through, and I'm telling you, my brother, I love the work that you are doing in your publications, and I'm asking you to keep it on. And I'm saying to every real issue family, let's keep this fire burning, not the flower, but the fire in our heart, to make sure that we protect.
Thank you very much.
You know what it is. Have a blessing, everybody.
Let me make the point.
Thank you.
Before call, we have another call?
We have another
okay,
call
let's take the call.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Once you open the lines already, the lines...
That's okay, I'll get a minute.
Hi, Real Issues, you're on the air, go ahead.
Hi, Shelton, Terry.
Yes, my brother.
Listen, that Tommy Descott guy, I mean, I really don't know, you know. Tommy Descott, Alan Chesney, Guy Joseph, and a bunch of the surrogates are in Bannon's Bay saying to people, the few squatters, the people who are there, including people who don't even live there,
You're right.
saying to people, don't move. No matter what they say, don't move. If you're going to move, if they want you to move, ask them for $1 million.
Yeah.
And we're going to provide you with legal representation. A whole bunch of foolishness. I mean, the people are in talks with the Slasper people who own the land there. They're in talks with the Slasper people. They're in negotiations with the Slasper people. The government is looking to make Bannon's Bay a better place to live for those people who actually live there. Providing, to provide them with modern day amenities so they can live a better life in there. You're saying to the people not to move, continue to live, as you said, Terry, in the squalor that they're in there, continue to live there rather than heed what the government is saying in terms of making the place a better place to live for all of you. Now compare and contrast that, and whilst they're saying to people not to move, $1 million, compare and contrast that with what happened with Alan Shastney and his government and T.O.R. King. Alan Shastney and his then government ran out the farmers in the Viewfort area there, chased them out, never compensated one of them. A lot of those people said they lost their crops, they lost some of their farm animals. They were never compensated. And gave away the land to T.O.R. King, 1,000 acres for $1 a square, for $1 per acre per year. Practically gave that land away to T.O.R. King and had T.O.R. King's horses living in air-conditioned splendor. His horses living in air-conditioned splendor. But today, you're saying to those people, those few people who actually live in the Bananas Bay area, not to move, continue to live in squalor, and we'll even provide legal representation to you so you can continue to live in squalor, rather than heeding what the government is saying to you, that we want to develop the place so you people, who are living there, we can, provide the modern day amenities that you need, that you require, so you can live a better life in there. Yeah. And Tommy Descott has the gumption after what Alan Shastney, all that stuff Alan Shastney did, including the chaos that he created in Viewfort with all those lands he gave to T.O.R. King, while he trampled on the rights of farmers. Farmers lost their crops, they lost their farm animals.
That's right.
Nothing for that. But you're in there creating problems for the people. Yeah. Now, let me move away from that. You said, that you would talk about, listen, gentlemen, I heard Guy Joseph, berating King because he said that, King came into government with a birth certificate. And in all his years, the only other certificate that he acquired was a marriage certificate because he got married. While Guy Joseph has both a bachelor's and a master's. Okay, be that as it may. But what Guy Joseph is not saying to the people is that he, Alan Shastney, and the bunch of them, they have another certificate. The certificate to fouiller le mayo a groupe pays. They have that certificate. And look, if people are fooled sufficiently to put them back into office, when they come in, they'll have a bigger certificate, because if people thought they were pushing their hands in the country's grip, they're going to do that so much. If they do get back, we won't have a country anymore. Thanks, right, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Do we have another call on the line? Yes, let's take this call.
Yeah, we're taking the calls.
That should carry us to the break. Real issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing, sir?
This is Alan Shastney.
We know who you are.
Attention.
You're invoking your white privilege now?
Yeah, somewhere along my ancestral line. Listen, that was so hilarious. Just seeing that last part of the sitting yesterday.
Speak up a bit. Yeah. You sound a little distant and muffled.
You heard me? You heard me clearly?
Yeah, better now.
I was saying that was so hilarious seeing yesterday the last part of that sitting at the CCJ, where he was forced to humble himself. And you realize how patronizing he was? Juxtapose that to his behavior in the House.
Yes.
Had this been a different person, a different setting, you would have seen him turning red and refuse to sit down until he had his voice heard. So I'm glad that he had a bit of a humbling moment, albeit for a second.
Maybe embarrassing his own lawyers too.
That's right.
Blindsided them. They never knew or expected.
Even Mark looked a little flushed.
You have lawyers representing you, high-powered lawyers.
Yes, yeah.
before the highest court in our judicial system and so on, and you feel you need to call to say something. And I mean, come on, what does that say about your attitude towards your own lawyers?
Exactly.
That they really don't have what it takes
to represent Massa.
Yeah, so.
And Mr. Antoine, the word is certificate. SIRTIEF. Certificate. and trust me, they're well adept.
Yeah, nice one.
What does Mr. Antoine say?
He said certificate. Another certificate there. He said certificate.
Okay.
Now, on the point of Tommy Descat and jumping on what Mr. Antoine said regarding the ban, and oh, by the way, it almost seems ever since Alan Shastney used that word, we've begun to anglicize the word. It's banan. It's not bananas.
I just find too many people who should know better doing that. It's like there's now almost such a pervasive bananas, and even down south they've taken it to savans.
Savans, yeah. It's a French word. The S is not pronounced banan.
But go ahead.
Right, and just a quick point. What he said, Tommy is encouraging the people to stay. They deserve to be compensated in the vein of Marjorie's compensation for her land and everything. It is just showing what I continue to repeat. It is the demographic that the Alan Shastney new WP is trying to appeal to. They try to say things so simplistically, make things seem what they are not. And that is why you get grown women wearing Pampers on a political platform. Shelton. So I think, again, that the strategy is to counter that with information as much as we can. I mean, because any reasonable person in Banan, knowing that they are squatting, and many of them even moved there after it was declared an area for development. How can any reasonable person believe that they are entitled to any land or the government has to compensate them for anything? In fact, what they are getting right now is actually at the whim of the government. And they should be very, very grateful. And I'm happy that they are going to get alternate accommodations once this project is done. But just the point is that they are going to make things sound as simplistic as they can be to try to fool the people, and we need to counter it with information. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right, thank you very much. Now we've come to the break, so let's take it right now. Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. When we return, more of your calls and messages. And I think Terry is also chomping at the bit with something that he wants to slip in. Yeah. He'll get his chance as well.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell's supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Real Issues powered by Blue Waters is on with me, Shelton Daniel, and Terry Fenelon. The telephone lines are open for your calls. The WhatsApp number, you can WhatsApp call us on 758-487-9849. And you can also reach us on the local landline 4533-911. I think we have someone waiting already. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon to all your good afternoon to all your listeners.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Go ahead.
All right. So let's make a couple points here. Just like a while ago, there's no such word as bananas. There's no such word as savants. And there's no such thing as kaimaji. It's kaimaji. Now, why do I tell you that? There's a lot of people that keep saying St. Lucia sells passports. St. Lucia do not sell passports. There's no government in the world that sells passports. Passports are issued by the immigration office. That's part one. Let's go to part two. Mr. Shasty, I have watched many Privy Council hearings. At no time have I ever seen a defendant or plaintiff rising to make a point. The CCJ, which is our highest court, Mr. Shasty, for some reason was allowed to be on the live. I guess because he was the one behind the complaint. He took it on his own to ask the president for time. But I blame the president. The president should have shut him down from the very minute. Because in the high courts and in the privy councils, we argue law. We do not argue or debate evidence. You go in there with your lawyer, who's qualified and has passed a bar exam, and that is what they do. So I do not understand how Mr. Shastri was given a chance by President Patterson to even open his mouth. Let's go to the third one. Tommy Descat, July 5th, Fuller Show. I met Tommy Descat, his manager, I think, in law, and 3 of his campaigners. And I said to him, have you ever asked Mr. Shastri to show you his degrees? Then he asked me, how important is that? I said, but how could you have somebody leading you, telling you that he's an economist, but he cannot show you anything so you could verify it? I also made mention to him that Dr. Firstwine in Soufrière got punished. He said to me at the time, that's not important. I said, what do you mean by that's not important? So now he goes on this platform. Remember, I had that argument with him, and Mr. Descat, if you're listening, that's Bert Bailey here. Bert Bailey in Fuller Show, July 5th. The same afternoon, Miss Alfred was going to run. And we had that big commotion. Descat knows for a fact Alan Shastri did not hold a degree. He asked me if the Prime Minister holds the degree. I said to Mr. Descat, I could do you a favor. I will fly to Barbados myself. I will go to the wall at Caville because Mr. Pierre is an honorary, he has an honorary degree in economics, and I can take the picture of the wall and bring for you. So I said to him, can you do the same thing in Canada or wherever school you went to? And that's why I left it with him. And you hear him there Sunday night talking in nonsense. There are 2 economists in, but he forgot Guy Joseph say he has a master. Gentlemen, have a nice afternoon.
Thanks. Yeah. You as well. Let me just say something before you, Terry. The matter about Alan Shastni's qualifications ahead of the 2016 elections that came up, and Shastni, it was in response to that he went on a program hosted by Timothy Polio and was asked the question by Timothy. He tried to put Timothy on the spot to say, since that has come out, what have you done about it? And Timothy told him basically, well, I'm doing something about it. I'm asking you now. So that was when he made the statement, I think it was on the Newspin program, that he holds a master's degree in development banking from American University, and that master's degree is a cross between an MBA and an economics degree. Subsequently, he posted online what appeared to be or was purporting to be a photo of his degree, master's degree certificate. Now, so Shastni, I wouldn't say he has put the matter to rest, but the information defending Shastni came from Shastni. To me, that's not as acceptable as it should be. My understanding is that our diplomatic personnel, whether at the level of ambassador or whatever, yes, in the particular jurisdiction, they are authorized and have a right to approach these educational institutions in their capacity as ambassador and yes, to ask that they want to do some verification on the academic credentials of a St. Lucian, someone from their domicile and polity, and to do it. I contacted a certain ambassador. I won't tell you whether it's the one in Canada or whether it's the one in America, because these are the 2 universities Shastni claimed to have attended. Bishop's University, somewhere in Canada, and American University, somewhere in the United States. And I tried to speak to the ambassador about it, and the ambassador didn't seem too interested. Yeah. He seemed a little indifferent about it. Subsequently, the ambassador changed, and I asked whether they had done anything. And basically the answer was no, but that ship has sailed now, don't bother about it, whatever it is. I am saying that the government of St. Lucia, the St. Lucia Labour Party administration, headed by Philip Joseph Pierre, whose external affairs or foreign minister is Alva Baptist, if they really want to, they have the wherewithal, they have the resources, they have the legitimacy, they have the authority to inquire about Shasnees. People like me doing it without any certainty, because if I go to American University or Bishop's University, they can basically just blow me off. You know, this
Who
is
are you?
not just who are you, it's a matter of privacy. In other words, I am inquiring into somebody's credentials, which is their privacy. If it is an ambassador, it supersedes the whole issue of privacy that they have the legitimacy to do it. For me, and I'm saying that plain, you know, for me to go and throw myself, possibly as a wavet devant pool, you understand, for some kind of lawsuit that I cannot defend, that I cannot be sure that I will have people backing me up to come and say, look, we know for a fact, because I am not sure whether any inquiries at our diplomatic level have been made to ascertain what are the true qualifications and credentials of Alan Chastney. I'm very reluctant to throw myself like a roach in front of a hen who can easily pick me off and peck me, you know, out of existence and so on, and then I don't have the kind of backup. If our government wants, regardless of which government, by the way, but I would think that the Labour Party would be the one most likely and the one with the greatest interest, they can find out what is the indisputable truth about no, that's not true. That's not true. An ambassador can, somebody send a message saying nobody can ask about somebody's qualification. That's not true. An ambassador can make the inquiry. And the particular ambassador that I said who sounded like they're indifferent about it, that ambassador confirmed to me. That ambassador told me, yes, I could go and ask and I would get it.
Okay.
My next question was basically, why didn't you? You know, and the question was, well, you know, that ship has sailed, and they gave me some other reason that they understand that it was a former ambassador who had maybe, you know, used his influence to go and get Alan Chastney into the university and so on. I'm saying there's certain things that, and it doesn't mean the ambassador has to come and spray it all over the media. Yeah. You know, you expect ambassadors to have a certain degree of decorum and a certain degree of, you understand? Mm-hmm. So I don't expect an ambassador to come and to say, okay, I found out, and to come on the real issues. Yeah. But I believe, and I would expect an ambassador knows how to route and channel that kind of information so that it can get, so people can put this matter to rest. But truth be told, Alan Chastney in 2016 did respond to that matter after real issues. At the time it was 90 minutes with Shelton Daniel I was doing on radio. After I had relentlessly kept saying I think he needs to clear the air in order to put this matter to rest once and for all. You understand? Timothy pretty much asked him the question the same way. He answered, and he actually posted a picture purporting to be his master's degree certificate. But we have a call on the line. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon to you.
Shelton, continuing in the same vein, there's a situation right here in St. Lucia that we have some sort of level over. And I do not understand how a man like Guy Joseph could still be in the political arena. Let us not forget that we all saw the man receive a check on behalf of his wife when he made the statement that if he could have, he would have built 10 schools for his wife. Right? That school was built was financed by state funds. Within 1 year, it was closed. We all know that.
Yes.
And yet still, we have those guys masquerading on platforms, still trying to be legitimate.
Exactly, because this raises questions about integrity in public life. Are you using your state position as a minister to solicit and source and obtain funds from a foreign embassy, and then that money does not go into a government, even if it went into a government and then the government subsequently passed it on to a private enterprise for the development of special education or whatever it was? But are you receiving it as a minister? You negotiate it as a minister, and then it is going to your wife for a private school that she runs and so on. These are serious questions. Integrity in public life and so on. Is that right? Should an inquiry have been made about that? You know?
Yeah. And that same gentleman have an accusation of 20 direct awards in 1 day.
30.
We have the issue of the Pajot letter. Here is a man who was Minister of Economic Affairs. Somebody accusing you of signing a letter that you said that you did not sign. You had all the wherewithal, all the authority to call for an investigation of who is doing that to you. You did nothing about it. And you're saying to me that this gentleman is legit? And this gentleman is going as far as calling Philip JP a deck on a platform? I mean, there are certain things that we are taking that we have to blame ourselves for. My brother, my comrade. We have to blame ourselves for that.
Yes.
Because he should have never reached that far to even call any politician within the Central Labour Party or supporting the Labour Party any names. Because we should have properly investigated the gentleman, because we have all the facts, all the documentation of the nonsense he did. And we are allowing them to continue to say that, to dish out those narratives that we know are false narratives.
Okay.
You know, when the man is led by a leader who continuously makes deck statements, right? Whether it's on interviews, whether it's in the House, whether it's representing us at the highest level, you know, and then you want to call a gentleman like Philip J. who had his first degree at 24 years old, a legitimate degree for the University of the West Indies, you know, a gentleman who has a financial company that has worked with institutions within the region, the Caribbean Development Bank, and so on. You know, a man who has advised companies that are, we know today, that are very successful companies.
Thank you, caller.
In their financial.
Thank you.
You know?
Yeah,
Thank
okay,
you,
we get the point. I think Dr. Carlton Augustine is trying to call us. Let me see if I can. Oh, he's there. Okay, all right.
Hello,
Hi.
good afternoon,
Hey, Carlton,
Shelton.
good afternoon. I was just trying to call you on my own phone. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yes, on Comrade Perino.
Good day, sir.
I just wanted to make 2 points. The first thing is about HTTI. People are missing something which is very serious. People borrowed money to go to that school from Development Bank and other banks.
Yes.
And I'm saying it is incumbent upon the government to ask these institutions to forgive these loans. It is not fair to these young people who took money and for no fault of theirs, the school, they didn't get their degrees or their diplomas, and they have to pay back those loans. So I think we need to make some kind of representation for those people. And the question I want to ask you, why wasn't any fraud investigation opened up into that whole CHTTI thing?
I don't know. So many things, it seems, were just left hanging and went to begging. Maybe they were all part of what was intended to be dealt with by the special prosecutor. But,
yes.
you know, look at the whole special prosecutor thing. You know, and I'm not saying everybody should behave the same, you know. But having lived in Antigua and having worked directly with him with a radio station that he owned and so on, there is no way this kind of thing would have happened then. Gaston Brown would have not been, you know, raising hell about it, you know, kicking about it and so on, about why it's not. And you know, many people consider to be that he tends to be a little, you know, off the handle and so on. But it can't be that we have a government and the government is helpless in the face. First of all, you're not the one selecting the person. A lot of people are vexed, including Labour Party supporters, because they believe the Labour Party picked, you know, and what is now a non-performing, you know, office and an idle whatever. That may or may not be true. But the idea people have in their mind is that the Labour Party is responsible for the pick of the special prosecutor, which is not true. But the question is the Regional Legal and Judicial Services Commission, what criteria did it apply? And is there a possibility that this commission could have been subjected to some kind of influence? You know, we don't like to think that way, because we like to think that our judicial system is so perfect and beyond any possibility of reproach. Might there be somebody who holds a lot of sway and influence, including, as I'm told, a businessman in St. Lucia who is even in poor health, can summon people around his bedside to meetings and to influence the way they will respond to things like the zero-rated VAT and VAT exempt and so on, maybe to tell them, you know, don't really cooperate and mess it up. But is there a possibility that we might have had some jurist who may have been an ex-member of the commission and who may have been an ex-judge who was able to influence things in a manner that they know will prevent, things from working out as we wanted them to work out with the special prosecutor. I'm not making any insinuations, but our government probably needs to be a lot more aggressive and to assert itself a lot more. As I tell you, I know the government of Antigua under Gaston Brown would definitely have done. We can't be stuck in the water. Things are moving and people just sitting pretty. Go ahead, Carlton. Sorry about that.
The other point is that where Chasney claims that the Masters in Development Banking is a cross between an MBA and a Masters in Economics.
And an economics degree.
As
You
the
didn't say
Jamaican
masters.
say, nothing I go to.
Yeah.
Nothing. I taught at American for a year in the Department of Economics. That program is in another department. It's not related to economics. They may have done within the department. But most of those people in that program would not be qualified to take classes in the economics department, which is more rigorous. And in fact, they have their own sort of classes. As distinct from the Department of Economics.
Thank you very much.
So he may have done 1 or 2 economics classes.
Yeah.
But it's a master's in arts, which is less. Whenever you see that in the US, it's less rigorous than a master's in science. For example, if someone tells you that they have a master's of arts in economics, it is not as rigorous as a master's in science in economics.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Do we have anybody else on the line? Okay. Take your wrap up. I think there's something you wanted to go to.
Shelton, I believe this guy's been set up. You notice Titus and other than they're flaunting their credentials. I think that they're selling themselves to the base as potential leaders. And they're showing up this guy because this guy does not have, well, I want to believe he does not have what he says he has. He cannot produce it.
So now you're coming around to what I'm
I'm treading carefully.
Maybe these guys yes, are engaging in a diplomatic sort of undermining.
Yes.
They're undermining.
A palace school will be taking place.
But they want to be diplomatic.
Right.
They want to be circumspect
so they're
about
showing
it.
that, hello, we have the credentials, this man does not have it.
I mean, why would someone come and say, once he has us, he don't need to have anything.
Nah.
I mean, this is a very diplomatic, tactful way of saying.
We are better than this guy.
Of saying, me say si on boîte vide, So we will be whatever is in his box for him because he don't have box.
And TC Brown said it well. This is not a guy with any kind of gravitas. This is just a rich man's son. And based on that, he's flying high. So we know that. And these guys have read the tea leaves. They realize that they want to put me down to pasture. They want to be prime minister at some point. It ain't going to happen. But so they're starting the undermining as of now. So they're setting the pace for Palace School.
Yes.
The stage for Palace School, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for that. Do we have any? Let me just see in the couple of minutes that we have left, if maybe I can just read a couple messages which I got in the meantime on the WhatsApp. Shelton, my point about Guy Joseph Wife's school is that the Taiwanese give the money for the students. Why were the students asked to take loans when the cost was already paid for by the Taiwanese? If that's true, the case. I mean that's a great point.
Yeah, if that's the case, yeah.
Great point. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Now, somebody has sent me a link to Bishop's University master's degree holders. He never said he did his master's at Bishop's. I think his first degree, which would be bachelor's, he said he did it at Bishop's University. And there's a picture of him at Bishop's University playing basketball or something of that kind. So the link for Bishop's University would be with regard to his first degree. The master's, he's always said that it's at American University, which Carlton just said he himself taught there for about a year. All right, let me say that. Tell Bird we in Boots. He's there and didn't even check me. Miguel, don't give me any message for anybody. Call the man and tell him that yourself, okay? All right. Anyway, he must have heard already, so you owe me one for that. Thank you very much, people, for being part of the Real Issues today. I think we had an exciting one. Tomorrow is going to be no less the final program for the week and for the month, which ends tomorrow. So until then, do enjoy the rest of your Wednesday safely. Thank you very much, Jaquan, for another great job. And to you, Terry, for being here. Shelton Daniel, For The Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters, signing out.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may...
The winning numbers for the midday draw of Wednesday, 30th July 2025 were double daily grand 1, 8, 13, 14, big 4, 0, 5, 3, 4, big for multi-X 2X, pick 2, 9, 0, pick 2 multi-X FP, 1 off 9, 2, 5, lucky 3, 1, 2, 0, lucky 3 multi-X FP.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.